We are here in the morning. We have an author here joining us this morning. Morgan, can you give an introduction?
We have Miss Raquel Weaver here to talk about her new book, From Cancer to Purpose. And yeah, just want to hear more about your story. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome,
Good.
awesome. So tell us about your book.
Well, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma July 27th of 2017. And I went through the process of chemotherapy, had to leave work, just having to find a way to make money on my own and find purpose in the middle of all of that. So I started the business Live on Purpose, and then I wrote my book, From Cancer to Purpose, about my journey with cancer and how I ended up just completely different, having a purpose, knowing what I'm supposed to do here on earth.
That's interesting. Like, there's a couple questions that I have just instantly coming out of that. You said leave work and figure out a way to make money on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Did your job wasn't able to kind of stay, or they weren't willing to keep you on board while you were going through everything? Like, what was that?
Right, so I hadn't been working there for 12 months, so I didn't have FMLA. And if I would have did short-term or long-term disability, I would have owed the company a lot of money by the time I went back to work. So, and my doctor actually wrote me out of work for 6 months. So I couldn't work either way because the mass was in my chest, and any form of stress or anything just would have made it worse.
So it was a mass. What type of cancer is Hodgkin's lymphoma? Because I've never heard of that.
It is a blood cancer. And we have non-Hodgkin's and Hodgkin's, so it's just the difference in the blood cells that they find in the cancer. I actually would not have known that I had it had I just not been able to breathe and felt like somebody was choking me. And because I ended up going to the hospital, I went to Novant Health, and they told me that I had an upper respiratory infection. And they saw in my scans that there was a mass, but nobody told me. So I took the medicine that they gave me, went to my regular physician and told her that I was still feeling sick, and she pulled out my scans and said, well, you have a mass in your chest, and it's 5 centimeters next to your heart. So that definitely could have took me out, but God.
How old are you?
I'm 20. I'll be 26 on Tuesday.
Wow.
All right, so I'm still going back to the work part, because it was just like, that's, you think about every day paying bills, and those are the stresses that people have, and just making a living, and now you're not even thinking about just trying to make a living, you're thinking about living. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you don't know what's going to happen on the other side of this. And you said you had to figure out ways to make money.
Right.
I guess what was some of that, and then what was that stress like trying to do that, knowing that you don't know what's going to happen with your health?
I mean, it was very stressful at the beginning, but everything just ended up working out. Like, it was like the end of my apartment lease, so I was able to go back home, to move home with my parents. That was really different, because after you live on your own for a couple of years, you really don't want to go back home. Not that it's not good or not ideal financially, but it's just not the first thing you think about or the first thing you want to do. So I had to go back home. I still had a car payment. I mean, I still had bills that I had to pay. But I mean, my family came together and helped me, and that took a lot of stress off. But a lot of people don't know, like, when you have cancer, there's a lot of things you have to figure out, especially when you don't have those benefits on the side. I mean, you're not going to get disability. They're going to say no. So it was just, I had to sign up for food stamps, and I was making a way, like, the best way I knew how, like, using those benefits that I had. But, I mean, if you don't have a support system, it is hard. And at first, it was very stressful. I cried every day, not going to lie. I mean, I'm praying every day, crying. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know how my life is going to be after this. So it was very stressful. But
I have a friend that had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it came back for him twice. Is that something that doctors have said to you, like, is a possibility, or for something to look out for in the future, or?
No, I mean, of course you have to be careful, and you go to your 3-month checkups, and you talk to your oncologist all the time, but I'm not worried about that, because I know God is a healer, and I don't even I don't even think that way. I mean, I think as long as I do what I have to do and make sure I'm on top of my health and my best advocate for my health, that won't be an issue. However, you never know, but I just serve a God that's greater than that. So,
what type of treatments do you have to do now to make sure and to ensure that it doesn't come back? Do you have to take any medicines or anything like that?
So I don't have to take anything after. However, you do like watch what you eat. Like I don't eat beef anymore. Like it's just certain things you just don't do. And a lot of it is because you don't like the foods from chemotherapy. Like if you eat it while you're going through chemo, it does not taste the same afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, you do not. You do not even want to eat it. You don't want to look at it.
Talk about that though. What was that like, chemotherapy for you? Because I've heard it can be very brutal to the body. Did you have to cut your hair? Like
yes. So I was bald. I cut my hair like November 4th of last year. And chemotherapy is really hard. You sit there for hours at a time with medicine going through your veins during IV, and you can sit there and the medicine can change like your mood just instantly as soon as it hits your body. And I mean, you're sitting there in a pod and there's 6 other people around you who are going through the same thing. But some people have to sit there for 8 hours. Some people have to stay there like 3 days at a time. So I was blessed to only have to be there for 4 hours, but it was really hard. You don't want to eat. You want to go to sleep afterwards. You can't because you have to take steroids during the time. It was just really hard.
So 4 hours each day you had to sit there?
No, every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Every 2 weeks. So as soon as you start feeling better, it's time for you to go back to chemotherapy.
What?
Yeah. It's hard.
Oh.
This is all crazy to hear about just because, like, you are so young, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is like, when I think about this, you know, I think about somebody in their 40s or 50s kind of going through cancer. And you're doing it, you did it in your early 20s. At what point did you think, I have to chronicle this and kind of put this together to either, did you know it was going to be book form? Did you think you're going to start a blog? Like, at what point did you start putting pen to paper and talking about your journey?
So it was actually after my journey that I wrote the book. Because I think during the time if you journal it, like you're writing everything, but the things that stick with you at the end of that is what I wanted to write about, because I knew that was the points in my life or in that journey that mattered the most, that I felt like, you know, I could reach other people and help them during their process too. But I knew like early on that I was going to write a book. A prophet told me that like at church, and at first I was like, she's crazy. I'm not writing a book. Like I've never even thought about being an author. But then when I was going through chemotherapy, I was like, you know, I could really help someone, because it was so many people that helped me that I probably would never meet in my life, that I watched their YouTube videos or I read their blogs, or I actually met 3 other girls who are around the same age as me here in our city who had cancer too, like the same time or a year before. And like just talking to them and connecting with them and having people who understood like what it felt like to go through what I was going through helped me. And so I knew like, okay, if I write a book, I know that somebody will be able to be blessed by it and learn about cancer and just how to be positive during the journey, because your fight is more mental than anything.